Let's take our vitamin in the Word together, shall we? I'm going to read to you from Genesis 32, verses 24 to 26. And I'm going to talk for a few seconds, a few moments about embracing the future and no longer chasing the past. Sometimes we've got to get delivered from our lockdown into the past. God's got a future for us. Verse 24 of Genesis 32. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. And when he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he touched the socket of Jacob's thigh. So the socket of Jacob's thigh was dislocated while he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But he said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." What a startling story. What a stimulating story. What an awakening call, that sometimes we need to be left on our own to encounter God. Sometimes we need to withdraw from the busyness of the moment, the demand of the hour, the challenges of the situation, and come right back to wrestling with God from the inside out. And this is what Jacob's going through. It's startling. He's been forever chasing his past. Now God's turning him to face his future. And we can't live in the past. The scriptures remind us that we have tasted of the powers of an age to come. The future is what it's all about. And we can enjoy the future now in the very present if we're not locked into the past. The story of Jacob is an exposition of this. Comes a time in our lives when we need to put the past into perspective if we are to embrace the future. He's facing a real crisis in his life. He's no longer wrestling with his circumstance. He's found himself alone and wrestling with God. Sometimes we are busy fighting the situation when we need to come right back and have a breakthrough with God in our prayer, in our communion. When we wrestle with God, we are wrestling with greatness. Jacob will come out of this alone with God with genuine transformation. We're so often in such a hurry that we fail to come out of the busyness in order to have an encounter with God. What is it? What is it that distracts us? What is it that we're really afraid of? Perhaps it was for Jacob all of his life in which his strength was expended in trying to square the circle. Perhaps you're trying to do the impossible. Maybe it was his strength, his determination to fix everything that was actual weakness that was postponing true fulfillment in his life. Maybe he was a perfectionist. I don't know. But what I know is that we've got to come back to this place where we have our encounter with God. We can all reflect on our disappointments, circumstantial twists in life that injure our confidence. But the time has now arrived for Jacob to settle his destiny once and for all. He is needing a meeting with God. I'm convinced of this. We all need that. We need to have our encounters with God at different stages of our lives. And at the very outset, one thing is certain: if we get right with God, He can transform us from being a taker into becoming a giver for God. God bless you.